In today's video, I'll be giving you 15 exercises to help you improve your writing skills. So the first exercise is to continue from a novel chapter. First of all, you want to find a novel you really love and choose a specific chapter. Read that chapter and then try to write a continuation of that chapter in the original style of the author. So maybe you change the events to create a chapter that is unique to you, but try and match the style of the author by referring to the previous chapter and then trying to continue the chapter in that style. This is a great way to learn how to analyze the style of other writers and how to learn what techniques writers use when creating their novels to help you learn how to apply these techniques to the novels you're writing. Another great exercise is describing a picture. So choose a picture, any picture, and then try to describe that picture to someone who cannot see that picture. What word choices would you use in order to really get the message across? For example, if you're showing a picture of a dog, simply describing it as a dog is not the right message to get across. You may describe the way the dog looks, or how fluffy the dog is, or the dog's fur. So think about how you would describe that picture to someone who has never seen it. And especially when taking this exercise, try to assume that whoever you're describing it to doesn't even know what a dog is. So how would you describe a dog to someone who has never seen one? So when you are describing the picture, try to use unique word choices to really get the message across, and practicing this regularly can help you learn how to describe things in more unique ways in your story. Another exercise is to write a pretend journal entry. So choose your own character or a character from a series you like and try to write a pretend journal entry from that character's point of view. How does this character see the world? Write it in first person as though you were writing a journal, and try to imagine yourself in the role of that character, what decisions they would make and how they would see the world. A technique that I like to use a lot, and I do mention a lot as well, is using the 5 senses when writing. When writing, using the senses within your writing can be a really helpful way to bring your audience into the scene and make them feel what your character is feeling. Using this in a way can help your readers to make comparisons with their own senses, and it can really help them to relate to what that character is currently experiencing. So you may use a writing prompt for this, or simply begin creating a paragraph or a short story and try and use as much of the senses as possible in that short amount of time. This can be a great way to make your audience relate more to your character by including the senses within the scene you're writing. Now, another technique to help you improve your writing is actually to write fan fiction. It might sound silly, but honestly, by choosing an already existing world with already created characters, it's a really great way to actually be able to practice your writing. In this way, you don't have to already plan a world or characters. It's already all there. You just have to use it to help you create a story. And this is a great way for you to be able to practice your writing skills without having to do all of that planning work in the beginning. And you don't need to share it with anyone either. If you just want to write some fan fiction for fun and for practice, then that is perfectly fine too. Another important exercise is to try and play your scene in your mind like a movie. You can even act it out if you want. Try and imagine that you're seeing this scene like a movie in your mind. If visualizing is a little bit more difficult for you, then try acting it out instead. Imagining that you are playing the role of your character in a movie. What expressions would you make? How would you stand? And where would you be standing? And understanding how to see your book as though it were a movie is a really helpful way to give your book a lot more depth. Another helpful exercise is to choose a song and write a paragraph or short story off it. Play a song you like and try to think about how this would look. You can use the movie technique again as well, and try to think about what this would look as a movie. If any scenes come to mind, write them down for future story ideas, and this can be a good way to practice your writing. And music is a wonderful source of inspiration too. Working from the middle is another really helpful exercise. If you feel inspired for a particular scene in your book, especially if you haven't necessarily planned out the rest of it yet, you can always start with that scene in the middle. You don't always have to start from the beginning of your story, and sometimes starting from the beginning when you don't really know where the story starts can slow down the pacing of the story. Focus on writing the middle if you feel inspired to do that, and write the scenes that you feel inspired to write in the moment. And if you've written that scene already, you can always then work from that scene and think about the scenes that would come before or after that in order to fill in the gaps later. Another helpful technique is to reimagine a fictional character. Pick a character from a series you know and love and try reimagining them in a different way. Maybe the hero character is suddenly reimagined as a villain, or vice versa, maybe the villain is suddenly more of a hero. You can also take the character's abilities and skills and make them the opposite. Maybe if your character has ice abilities, now they have fire abilities. Try and imagine your character in a unique way and write a paragraph or a short story based on this reimagined character. And this can be a great way to not only help you to learn character development, but also how to describe those characters in your story. Another helpful exercise is to choose a feeling and show it through the scene. Showing versus telling is really important when writing a story. So pick an emotion, sadness, fear, or anger, or embarrassment, and try and convey that feeling through the scene without directly saying what the character is feeling. So through your paragraph or short story, put yourself into the role of your character, then write a paragraph where you show why this character feels the way they do through the events or their reactions to the events. Try and show it through specific word choices without directly telling the audience that your character is feeling a certain way. To see if you have done this correctly, you may want to show your paragraph to someone else to see if they can guess the emotions that your character is feeling. When it comes to a story, dialogue is really important. That's why writing distinct voices can be another helpful exercise. Choose two characters with very different personalities. They can be your characters or characters from a series. Then write a scene with only their dialogue, with each speaker on a different line, and take turns between the characters. When you write your character's dialogue, try to make each character sound unique in their dialogue to make it easier to tell which character is talking. This can be a helpful way to practice writing character voices and making each character sound unique on the page. You can also try writing character perceptions. Pick two characters, character A and character B. They can be your characters or characters from a series. Then describe character A from the perspective of character B and vice versa. Have character A describe character B. And this is a good way to put yourself into the role of your character and try and see the world from their perspective. This is similar to the picture exercise, but it's describing an object. So pick an object, it could be anything, a chair, lipstick, a fork, and then try describing it as though you were describing it to someone who had never seen it before. How do you describe a fork to someone who does not know how to use it or hasn't seen it? So this can be a good way to help you learn how to write better descriptive text. Try writing an alternate universe. Probably makes you think of fan fiction again, but this is a really helpful way to reimagine stories. Take an already existing character or a story and try and write an alternate universe to this. So maybe the villain doesn't go down the same path as they did before. Maybe they make the right decisions. Maybe you take a story and characters presented in a historical time and put it in the modern day. There are so many ways you can create an alternate universe to a story you already know and love. And presenting these stories in new ways can help you learn how to write better descriptions and how to reimagine stories. And reimagining stories in new ways can really help you to hone your creative skills. But most importantly, you need to write what you enjoy. When it comes to writing, don't force yourself to write scenes that you don't enjoy. If you are not enjoying writing a particular scene or trying to make a certain scene fit your story, chances are your readers probably won't enjoy reading that scene much either. So what you really want to do is, if there is a scene you don't really want to write, try changing that scene in certain ways to make it into a scene that you feel excited about and that you want to write. And then your readers will enjoy reading those scenes too. Ultimately, you want to write what you enjoy, and the more you have fun with writing and enjoy what you create, the more it will be easier and faster to improve over time. Thank you so much for watching my video today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any writing exercises that I didn't share in this video, please share them in the comments because I would love to hear them, and I'm sure others would love to hear them too. Visit my website midnicecross.com for resources, templates and workbooks that can help you to level up your story. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!